Nice being here.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nana.
And you look so good.
Well, to God be the glory.
All right, let's begin by bringing you up to speed with news making rounds on ABS website. And the first story we have for you this morning is Idemili South mobilizes support for re-election of Soludo. Ibezim donate over 30 million campaign support fund. Nnewi South supports Soludo's re-election campaign with 85 million naira. Anambra State government suspends head teacher for allowing campaign rally in school. SDC group enrolls less privileged persons into Anambra State Health Insurance Scheme. That's very, very commendable. Anambra State Healthcare Initiative, Adabebe Primary School.
Free healthcare.
Okay, Anambra Free Healthcare Initiative. Adabebe Primary Health Center, Amobia records first free delivery. And then we have NAWAOJ celebrates girl child in Oka. Federal government introduces 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. And then we have Tinubu asks new service chiefs to tackle emerging security threats. And last but not the least, US to reduce tariffs on Chinese imports. And that's all we have for you from ABS website.
US are reducing their own tariff while Nigeria is increasing
by 15%.
their own. I wonder whether they think about the common man, you know, when they do all these things. Because when we talk about petrol, some of our elites don't really know how much petrol is sold at the market. And we saw what happened with the removal of subsidy, or the pronouncement of removal of subsidy, and what is going to happen this time around that they increase tariff.
I'm looking at it. Tariff actually is meant for good when you have local content. You know, you try to protect the local manufacturer. Now, introducing the 15%, the question I ask is only Dangote refinery producing enough or sufficient for local consumption? If yes, then I think introduction of tariff makes a lot of sense. But if it's not, then the introduction of the tariff is something else. And then if we are talking about deregulation and trying to get a deregulated petroleum sector.
And what happened to the refineries they promised to put to work? Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Warri refineries, they promised over the years to put them to work.
Well, Oma Wumi will say, if you ask me now, who I go ask? You know, it's unfortunate that those three refineries, or four, because Port Harcourt has two, one in Warri and then one in Kaduna. It's unfortunate that those refineries, I don't know, they have been a leaking pocket. The best we can do now is either to scrap them, and then economics will always tell you that government is not good doing business. If I told that line, I would say that our refineries need not be in the hands of government, but rather not selling to my cronies. But actually, if it's going to be privatized, let us privatize it in broad daylight, not towards evening, you know, when you know, so tariff is okay, import duties and whatever. But like in the case of US and China, I mean, that's out of the world. You know, some group of persons are just trying to, you know, do a go, massage themselves and, you know. But what they are now seeing, and even without due consultation with World Trade Organization headed by Dr. Konjo, how do man just put herself off the whole mess? Just allow them do their
thing.
You know, is it thing or rubbish? The same two persons who have held themselves because they can't hold the world ransom has finally met and then start laughing. Then you begin to ask yourself, where are we really heading? Then as to campaign in Anambra, good. But I will ask, what was the mindset of the headmaster or principal that allowed campaign during school hour? It beats my imagination. I'm a product of parents who are in the educational sector. And I know that campaign and studying and learning can never go hand in hand. It's practically not possible. Because if a campaign is going to be held in an environment today, since yesterday, there will be a lot of activities, distractions, even the setting up of the stage. What if a child is hot? Not talk about school. With the noise coming from the sound speakers, arrival of persons, vehicles, moving in and out, what was the thought of such a headmaster or headmistress or even a principal? The question is, why do we have to expose children to unnecessary danger?
All right, that question, I think the head teacher should be answering that, but let's move on now to the dailies. The first daily for review this morning is the Daily Sun newspaper. Let's see stories making their headlines in front of the Daily Sun. Tinubu gives new military chiefs marching orders, directs officers to restore peace, flush out insurgents, smash new threats, and says Nigerians expect results, not excuses. Defection, presidency, APC governors, APC National Working Committee to receive Diri on Monday. 6 Enugu reps dump opposition parties for APC. Nigerians will suffer over 15% fuel import tariff, APC chieftain warns, says President Tinubu ill-advised. Nigeria's Konga Group CEO Prince Eke wins Forbes Euro Knowledge Global Awards. That's a big congratulations there. FG close to single window policy implementation at ports, says Shetima. NLC furious over move to amend ECA Act, vows to resist plan. Adeleke accuses federal government of withholding Osun local government allocation for political reasons. Tinubu approves 4 trillion naira bond to clear power sector debts. All right, we move to the next paper, the Authority newspaper now. 6 reps defect to APC. FG nears the implementation of single window policy to boost efficiency at port. Senator Natasha invites Akpabio to Kogi for project commissioning. Party registration, INECO case 8 out of 14 associations. Insecurity, give me results, not excuses. Tinubu orders new service chiefs, decorates them with new ranks, smash the new snakes he charges. Now 1.9 million applicants shortlisted for 30,000 paramilitary recruitment vacancies. Lawyers must pay 7.5% VAT under new tax law. Federal government insists. Now, and the Anambra Guba, NSCDC, steps up security with over 10,000 operatives. Namfubara pledges partnership with NDE to tackle unemployment. These are the much we are trending from the 2 papers. Natasha inviting Akpabio to commission projects. I hope Akpabio will honor that invitation.
Akpabio ought to honor the invitation. The drama is over. We're back to business. And then in politics, they say no fool.
No permanent friend.
No permanent
enemy.
And then the interesting part to me is the marching order from Mr. President to
the service chiefs.
The service chiefs. Nigerians don't demand excuses from you. What they want is results. And at least for the first time, we see a clear-cut instruction and then directive, unlike most of the situations where go do the needful. That's not there. And then to the service chiefs, the Omambala will always say, Nti odekwa. To the service chiefs, Nti odekwa. To whom much is given, much is expected. We've come, all this noise is long overdue. Is it that intelligence are not working, or the men and material needed to wage the war is not there? In whichever case, drone is being manufactured in Nigeria here by some persons. So where the legs can't get to, let the drones get there. Who should, lots of souls have gone. Economy is being held captive by activities of these persons, for whatever reason. I mean, banditry, the cattle Fulani issue in Benue, insurgency in the southeast, a lot, oil theft in Niger Delta. Please look at these things and then maybe divide yourselves. Okay, you, Chief of Air Staff, please look at this and get us a solution. Chief of Naval Staff, give us a roadmap on this. Then the Chief of Defense Staff now looks at all this and then marshal out a work plan. Let's see something going on. Not this, they are directors of information coming every day.
Do you actually believe that there is going to be a change based on the directive of the president?
There ought to be. But where there is none, Mr. President should wear this big stick.
Yeah, they ought to be. But this is not the first time we've had cabinet reshuffle when it has to do with the service chiefs.
Like I started with.
Everything is still the same.
No, so this one is a clear-cut instruction, at least for the first time.
So the previous administration have not been giving clear-cut instructions?
No, you may say, just, but let us see. That's why I started by saying, because an instructions has been given, and I expect Mr. President to match his words with action. If they are not getting what you want, no room to test run or run the analysis of action. Word matched with action and results. If it's not coming, please, we have other generals who are also competent. The exit door is always open.
Sometimes I've been opportune to be with military personnel, but not in the category of service chiefs of Nigeria. You understand? When you want to have things like this, or you give somebody a mandate for them to work, you understand, especially in critical areas of security, before you begin to, you understand, change the apparatus and then change the people, the intel gathering is, what do you lack in order to execute your job?
He is giving them a mandate. It's not their duty.
What do you lack? Now, if you don't ask them what they lack in order to effectively do their job, and then you remove them, and then you bring people, some other people in, for the fact that those people that were there before this person, before these people, didn't have the tools to work, these other people will still fail. So it's not a case of the president coming up to say we need results. We don't want excuses.
That's why we
do
said.
They have the tools to actually work and fight insurgency?
Sir,
have you made this? Have they made those available?
Now, what a tool available for me may not be the type of tool you want to deliver. Now a mandate has been given to them. It's their responsibility
to now say this is
to now sit and say, okay, I have this, I don't have this. I have this, I don't have this. And it should not be that closed file. There's a way they close file. When it's not working, sir, before they fire you, fire yourself. Yeah. Sir, I've asked for this, and it's not given. Okay, I think I'm done.
All right,
but sitting there and occupying the space, my brother, it doesn't make any sense.
All right, it's press review on ABS television. At this point, let's take a very short break. The program returns shortly.
Glad we've been joined by Emandi Ezenagu this morning to participate in the press review. Good morning, Emandi.
Good morning, AJ. Thank you. Thank you.
Next paper for review this morning is the Punch newspaper, and we have the banner headline screaming, "Petrol soars above 1,000 naira per litre as Tinubu okays 15% import tariff," with riders saying federal government moves to protect Dangote local refineries from cheap imports. Fuel importers fight tighter margin. Bayelsa government, governor sues assembly over impeachment plot. Owando records 164% surge in profit after tax. Over 30 states rely on federal allocation. That's coming from reports. COP, 4 others die in Lagos-Ibadan expressway crash. Party registration. INEC disqualifies 6 political groups. And then at the mast of the Punch newspaper this morning, EFCC NFIU launch crackdown on alleged coup funders. Army reshuffles, top ranks, redeploys 67 generals, detained officers named uncovered. And then we have U.S. Defense Shoyinka's visa revocation. Quickly, let's see what the This Day newspaper has for us this morning. Edun, removal of fuel subsidy. Forex reforms have strengthened redirected public resources. Well, I guess maybe our guests will delve into that when we're through. World Bank, there are clear signs of microeconomic stability occasioned by reforms. And also we have Oyedele, Nigeria avoided economic catastrophe by implementing reforms. Declares new laws have not added tax burden on masses, but repealed them, reversed many unfriendly regulations, insists reforms, people-centric, growth-focused, and efficiency-driven. And the last rider there says, country can attract $2 billion monthly from remote work opportunities enabled by tax reforms. And then also we have Tinubu to service chiefs, defeat these enemies once, I will provide all the support. That's interesting. Federal government inches closer to implementing single window policy for efficiency at Nigerian ports by 2026. And then we have, talking about the riders there, declares, that's the Tinubu service chief's rider, declares his government won't tolerate excuses again. CDS seeks support of Nigerians in fight against terrorism, pledges armed forces support for democratic rule. And then we have shake-up in army as COAS redeploys top generals, other senior officers. And then we also have Wike in Dubai, and then the story of Owando's 164% rise in financial posts. Rise in financials post 210 billion naira profit in 9 months. That's all we have for you on the front pages of the Punch newspaper and the This Day newspaper. Let's go down to the mast of the Punch newspaper and pick that story there. EFCC and FIU launched crackdowns on alleged coup funders. And then we have Army to reshuffle. Army reshuffles top rank, redeploys 67 generals, detained officers, names uncovered. Imandi.
Yeah.
It was alleged that there was a coup plot, attempted coup plot, and then that's why we are seeing the change of, service chiefs, and then, some former governor being raided, and, we are hearing from sources that the young man is out of the country and is saying that he has no involvement in the coup. But the story here is about the 67 generals that have been reshuffled and then the detained officers, even though names are yet to be uncovered. In a democracy where on paper everything seems to be working, I wonder why people would now come up to say that there was a planned coup in a system that seems to be working, where governors are jumping into one ship called APC. What's your take about that?
Well, the alleged coup is not the first time we're hearing it in this country. I think we heard it in the past administration, during the second tenure of His Excellency, late Muhammadu Buhari, and some months, or let's say about a year after Tinubu took office, we also heard about the coup. And today again, we are still hearing about the coup. So you see, it's not really about the coup and telling us this is what is happening just in the front page of the papers or on social media or on the rest of that. Now, the government in power should ask, what are we doing wrong that brings about this rumor of coup, trying to overthrow and the rest of that? I believe that it is just a mere rumor, just for the government, the present-day government, to feel that they are still relevant in power. Because now what we are talking about for the past weeks or months is about the opposition, the coalition, and the rest of that. So they're coming up about a coup and change of high-ranking officers is not really the solution. And we know that coup cannot work in today's Nigeria because of so many things. Because we don't agree. Despite the fact that we say we are one Nigeria, we don't agree with ourselves, we don't agree within ourselves. So whatever coup that will take place will not be successful in this present day democracy of the nation. So that is my take. So the government should just do their part, to ensure that they provide all the dividends of good governance to the people. With that, they will not have fear of any coup plot or any fear against the opposition, if actually they are doing so well.
All right, there's something I was saying before now, talking about the result that could accrue from the increment in tariff. Now we've seen it, that petrol soars above 1,000 naira. Remember, a few days back, the Senate President made a statement that Nigerians abroad should come back home, that hunger had been eradicated, things are normal now. Look at the price of fuel skyrocketing again, and the impact this is going to have on goods and services in this country. We know that once the price of fuel goes high, the prices of transportation goes high, and of course, what we eat, which is the basic need of human. So what's your take in all this?
It's unfortunate we react the way we react. First, this is a proclamation. The implementation policy has not even started.
It is the same thing that happened on the day the president took over.
Today,
once he made the pronouncement.
If the prices of fuel go down, it will take almost a week, because the same sellers, the same petroleum marketers will come up with a story that, it was an old stock we had, so we have to dispose it at the prevailing price as at the time we bought it to now, so that we don't run at a loss. Now that price is to be implemented,
upward
implementation of taxes, which has not affected the commodity within, because that's what we call wet quantity. The wet quantity is there, and wet quantity will at least will take us for like 1 week. Those already imported before the pronouncement is not going to be affected by this.
The increment will even come before the pronouncement. What's the rumor? They've had it the previous night.
The greed that is driving me and you, the same greed that if you look at the Q plot, two things I see will be irresponsible. Some persons or some sections of the country feel that the amount has been removed from the milk that they were sucking. That's one. Then two, some generals who now look at those before them with the volume of money that comes in the name of fighting insurgency. And then they are looking at how the thing, so those, look, there's no argument about it. There was a Q plot. Let's remove sentiments. Some sections of the country is already aggrieved. Even when they forced it down Nigerians' Muslim ticket, thinking that,
business as usual.
They even have a better business. Unfortunately, the business didn't fly. There have been rumors, quarrels, agitations at the background.
All right, let's quickly run because of our time. Let's look at the Guardian newspaper. Justice on trial as courts battle neglect infrastructure deficits. That we're looking at the Guardian now to see stories coming from there. Nigerians shouldn't be among hunger-stricken countries, says Peter Obi. CBN, banks can downgrade licenses if unable to meet recapitalization threshold. Nigerians expect results, not excuses. We've seen that before. Petrol may hit 1,163 naira per litre as FD targets 4.8 trillion naira yearly from fresh tariff. Now, APC gains upper hand in House as the factions reshape power balance. All right, Oando records 164% growth as profit hits 210 billion naira in 9 months. JAM probes 10 staffers over corrupt practices. Now, quickly, the next paper for review, the Daily Trust newspaper. Fuel price may go up. It has already gone up. All right, Army deploys 67 generals. We've seen that. What APC can do with 2/3 National Assembly majority. Bauchi create additional 29 local government areas, 6 NAS approval. Alleged coup plot. Okay. Brigadier General Colonel's others undergo probe. 8 die in Lagos-Ibadan expressway crash. And of course, Cameroon's opposition leader flees. UN, France warn against repression. Air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. And of course, the picture in front of that paper is a fire outbreak at the section at the Jabi Lake Mall in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, yesterday. Oh, this is
Okay, quickly, let's take the last 2 papers, then we can now begin to talk because of want of time. The Nigerian Tribune is up next for review. Southwest leaders want Tinubu to prioritize regional integration, lament deplorable state of federal roads in region. That's the rider, push for Yoruba unity and good governance. And at the mast of the Nigerian Tribune, ADA, ASP, 6 other associations for next stage of party registration. Experts warn of tougher times as federal government approves 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. And then we have Adeleke decries unjust attitude of federal government towards federating states, says, I am too popular to be afraid. And then we have FEC. Is that FEC or what? SEC partners CBN, EFCC to track, freeze illicit digital wallets. Health, how to manage, prevent stomach cancer. That's medical report. And then what else do we have here? Let's go quickly to the Blueprint newspaper. We expect results, not excuses, Tinubu tells new service chiefs. World Cup qualifier play of NFF confirms Super Eagles camp opening date. Natasha invites Akpabio, others to project commissioning. And then we have why Tinubu approved 15% import duty on petrol diesel. That's coming from Adedeji. With riders saying consumers will still bear the burden of new tax.
Of
coming
course,
from
they
state.
must have an excuse for doing whatever they are doing, but they should, I think, they should also consider the poor masses of this nation. Ezenag, which one are you talking on?
The increase in petrol tax and the rest of that. You know, it's not all about the increase. What we are talking about is the impact of this increase that we see. You tell us that subsidy is gone, and now we are seeing increase in petrol from one section to another. This is a state, or should I say a country, that produces oil, that produces this petrol. And we know that we have about, that in this thing that we call oil, let's say the crude oil on it, we have about 13 extracts from it. We don't have a working refinery. We don't have anything. At the end of the day, no infrastructure, no good roads, no good educational system, no good health sector, nothing. At the end of the day, you tell us that we make progress. You make increase in tax, you make increase in petrol, you bring in increase in one thing or the other. While in the right sense, we don't have adequate security in this country. And we don't have food, no food security. Hunger persists the country, the land, every day by day. And you know, this system is not working. They're not giving us the good dividends of democracy. And they're not giving us what they've promised. Coming to electricity, even the president currently during his campaign mentioned that we will have 24 hours power supply. but it is not coming on. But you see, all this increase, it affects everything. It affects the commodity, it affects the masses, and at the end of the day, the bourgeoisie, our political leaders, they don't bear the heat, they don't feel the heat. This heat hits on the masses, on the poor
All right,
masses.
we can actually go on and on, but I think as the much time could allow us to take on the press review for this morning, would like to thank you, gentlemen, for being here this morning. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Noe. Thank you, AJ.
Bon, Mr. President, 15% import duty. You know, work you.